Hi y'all, this is Tillery. Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk to you about my journey with breast cancer. And I'm gonna read a few things, and because it's so much information, it's a abundant of information on this subject, that I'm going to break up my videos in sections so it's not overwhelming. So I will talk about my discovery of breast cancer and then what my diagnosis is. Then I'll have chemotherapy and radiation and surgery. So I spread it all out. So today I want to just talk to you about how I discovered that I had breast cancer. So what is breast cancer? So breast cancer is the disease where the cells of the breast grow out of control, forming tumors that can be benign, which is non-cancerous, and malignant, which can be cancerous, right? So the causes can be your family history, alcohol consumption, abundance of alcohol, environmental factors, which you can be exposed to, like chemicals, and your age, 55 and older. I turned 55 this year. Your gender, I'm a woman, but men can get breast cancer too. Obesity and lack of physical activity, and also smoking. And the signs is a lump in your breast, discharge in your nipples, pain, redness, dimpling, and skin changes. From my experience, I had a lump in my breast, in my left breast. There are two types. There's invasive, which spreads to their surrounding tissue, and non-invasive, which means it stays contained in the point of the original origin, meaning it doesn't spread, it's just right here. And mine's was contained. Mine's was non-invasive. So if cancer is spread through the entire body or out of the armpits, out of the breast and armpits, is considered metastasized. And that's usually like a stage 3 or 4 type of cancer. I had stage 1. So I want to just share with you my journey of breast cancer. So let's get started with that story. So in May of last year, of 2024, I had my yearly mammogram, and it came back, everything was fine, no problems. In August of 2024, I received a letter in the mail that said that if you have dense breasts, that they suggested that you get an ultrasound, because with dense breasts, it's hard to detect breast cancer. So I had an appointment coming up with my GYN in September. So I asked him to refer me to get a ultrasound because I had dense breasts. During that visit, because I'm dealing with menopause, he prescribed me estradiol cream that I'm supposed to insert into the vagina, a little pea-sized amount that would help balance out my estrogen levels. And 2 weeks after me taking this medication, I'm in the shower and I discover a lump right here in my left side of my breast. And it was like a marble size. You can't miss it if you have a lump in your breast. You know what it is, right? And I dropped the washcloth because I was like, oh my God, what is that? And I said, well, I got a ultrasound appointment coming up. They'll see it, no problem. So when I went to my ultrasound appointment, I let the ultrasound tech know that, hey, I have a lump on my left side of the breast. So when she went and looked at it, she took pictures and measurements. After that appointment, the doctor came in and suggested that I see a surgeon. She's going to refer me to a surgeon, and she wanted me to get a biopsy, an ultrasound biopsy. I said, okay. So a week later, I got the ultrasound biopsy. So it's a lot, right? So I got the ultrasound, and the ultrasound biopsy, this is how this works. So the doctor comes in, he has the another ultrasound tech working the machine. He's on this left side of me because it's on the left breast, and he pokes a little hole in my breast, a real tiny hole, and he inserts this needle in, but they numb it first, and then they go in, and there's a machine, and so he turns the machine on, and he sucks out a sample of the tissue. So he leaves, she patches me up, goodbye, we'll call you with your results. So on Halloween, so now we're on Halloween, right? Halloween, I get the call from the doctor's office, well, from the hospital, and she tells me that I have stage 1 breast cancer, and the type that I have is triple negative. Never heard of it. I don't know much about breast cancer at that point, but I know a lot about it now. And she says I have triple negative. Triple negative is very aggressive. African American women, we are the ones who have it the most, and then Latinos and white women and Asian women are at the bottom of the list, right? It's a very aggressive cancer. What is triple negative? So let's talk about that real quick. And so I'm just reading my notes so I don't miss anything. So triple negative, it does not have estrogen, progesterone, and it doesn't have HR2, which is human epidural growth factor receptor 2, which is protein found on the surface of the breast. So it's not, the cancer itself isn't driven by those things. So if it's not driven by those things, then you are considered triple negative. So I have all 3 triple negative. And I had stage 1. My tumor was 1.7 centimeters. Okay. So now I'm like, whoa. So the doctor that from radiology referred me to a surgeon. And when I met with the surgeon, okay, so I'm walking through my steps. It was very overwhelming because I was meeting with the surgeon, and the surgeon referred me to the oncologist, and it was very overwhelming. But we were talking about the surgeon. Go to the surgeon's office. She sat down with me for a good hour and talked to me about the type that I have and the treatment plan. So the treatment plan was chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation. That is my treatment plan. When you meet with the surgeon, well, when I met with the surgeon, they gave me this book. And in this book, it has different tabs, okay? Different tabs for everything that she discussed with me. She discussed with me my type of cancer I have, the type of tumor I have, and it has surgery, radiation, chemotherapy. It has all that in this book, right? So I just flagged a few things just to share with you. So this is pictures of stage 1 breast cancer. My breast cancer was on the tissue, was in the tissue. So it wasn't in my nodules, but it was in my tissue, okay? Breast cancer, the kind that I have, and breast cancer in general, but the kind that I have was very aggressive, and it can grow very, very fast. It can grow fast between 23 days and 209 days. So they really wanted me to get in treatment because they was concerned that it was going to start to spread, which I didn't want it to spread, right? So then she told me what type I have. I had ductal carcinoma in situ, which means it was in one area. It wasn't spread throughout of that area. So it was contained in one area pretty much, and that means that I had better chances of them stopping the growth of that cancer. Okay. And then let's see, I wanted to show you guys, where's this next one? Okay, so there's a lot of information in this book, but I just want to just, like I said, it's very overwhelming. So this was like how they determined the stages, and mine was this 1.7. So anything that was 2 point and up, that levels up to different stages of breast cancer, and I just missed stage 2 by 3 points. So, right? So then she also gave me this page, right? Which tells me what kind of breast cancer I had, which was pretty much my information of what was triple negative. And I'm just sharing it with you because, you know, I want y'all to be aware. So she put triple negative, and I'm a research stuff, so it's showing what exactly that means. So I meet with the surgeon. After the surgeon, she says, well, I'm gonna refer you to chemotherapy. So we're going to talk about chemotherapy in my next video. So I just want to stop right here because I like I said, I just wanted to break it up in 3 sections or 4 or 5 because it's a lot of information on breast cancer, a lot. But what I will share with you, after they told me that I had the stage and I had to go to chemotherapy, go see the oncologist, I was very overwhelmed. And I found out on Halloween of 2024. And I was supposed to go trick-or-treating with my granddaughter and my daughter, but they called me right before I was about to, you know, start getting ready. And I was just done. And I couldn't believe it because, you know, for me, I took pretty good care of myself overall. Not perfect, but, you know, I'm pretty good with my health. So I'm like, well, where did it come from? And I was confused. But what I will say, one of the, here's the other steps before we go to oncology, and I'll do that in a different video. So after I had the ultrasound and I met with the surgeon, she wanted me to have an MRI of the breast because she wanted to make sure there was no other areas. So I had an MRI. Go to the MRI, and that was weird. You know, they lay you on your stomach, you put your breast in these cups, right? And so your breast is just hanging. They slide you into the tube, and they take all these pictures. And they also injected me with dye. And so they take all these pictures, and I'm in there for a good 20 minutes. And it seems longer, but you're in there for 20 minutes. And they put, you know, give you earplugs so you can listen to music, or, you know. So I tried to tune out and do visualization of me in nature or something because I needed to, you know, just get through that. And I'm claustrophobic, so I really definitely needed to get through that. So after the MRI, I met back with the surgeon, and she told me that there were 2 more spots on my left breast that she was concerned about, and she wanted me to have a MRI biopsy. And I'm like, okay, another biopsy? So this time I have an MRI biopsy. So I go in there, and the same thing, they lay me down on my stomach. My breasts are in these 2 different cups, but they don't slide me into the machine. This time I'm half hanging out. The nurses are on this side of me because they're keeping me calm, and the doctor is on this side, and he numbs me up, and he goes in and makes another little poke in my breast, another little hole. And so far I'm okay. And he's taking whatever sample he needs to take. And then he makes a move across my nipple all the way to the other side of my breast, and I feel that. And it was not pretty. It wasn't pleasant. I screamed a little bit, and I'm like, I'm done. Because that was freaking painful. They was like, okay, calm down, you know, because I'm about to get up. I don't care, right? Because at this point, I'm in pain and I'm done. They were like, calm down, Miss Tillery, you know, so get out. Hope you got what you needed because I'm done, right? I get dressed and I go home, right? And so far, I mean, I'm having different emotions, which is understandable, right? I'm having different emotions. Go home. And I remember that day, and I'm not a crier, you know, but I broke down that day. I broke down and I cried, and I was talking to my breasts, you know, and I was apologizing to my breasts that I didn't take care of you like I should have. I was apologizing to my body. I said, but we're gonna be okay, you know. I promise I'm gonna do better, you know. And they called me and told me that both of those were benign. So I didn't have to worry about those, but the other one is still malignant. So her treatment plan for me as far as surgery goes is called a lumpectomy, where she, after I finish the chemo, she does the surgery to remove the lump out of my breast. So that was the original plan. But had my 2 spots came back as malignant, I would have probably did a total mastectomy. And a lumpectomy is a partial mastectomy. So you might hear people say that term. But I was able to keep my breasts. So that was a good thing. So then she referred me to oncology. So right now, I'm gonna just stop here, and then I'm gonna talk about chemotherapy, because that in itself that's why I wanted that a whole different video. So thank you for watching. Please share and subscribe, and please follow me for the next few videos, because it could help information. Now, I'm not an expert, but I feel that, you know, my journey, somebody out there could learn from, you know. I believe in sharing information. If you have questions, ask me. Like I said, I'm still in my journey. I haven't started radiation yet. I did have surgery, but I'll talk about that too in my video after chemo. But once I have radiation, then I'll talk about that. But thank you, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the chemotherapy video. Thanks for watching. Bye.